Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into the world of AI music today.
Okay.
But, and this is what's really got me intrigued, we're looking at it through the experience of an independent artist named Corey Stewart Powell.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's been making music for years, singer-songwriter, you know the deal. But recently, he started a Spotify label just for music he's creating with AI, called it Offbeat Melodies.
So, like, is he using AI to help with production, or...?
It's all AI.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's really taking off, which I find fascinating because it kind of flips the script on this whole AI is going to replace artists thing, right?
Yeah, for sure. You always hear about that.
Exactly. So to see someone like Corey leaning into it like this, I think is really telling.
So what's his take on it? Why AI music?
Well, he talks about it being a tool that actually makes him more creative. Yeah. Not replacing his creativity, but speeding it up, you know? He's big on that.
Makes sense, especially for an independent artist. Got to move fast.
Totally. And I think that excitement comes through in the music. He even said, and I'm quoting here, it's the simplicity from concept to product that never fails to impress.
It is pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. Like, you can go from an idea to a finished track so much faster than traditional methods.
Right. Okay, so how's he actually doing it? Platforms like Suno, Udio, he's using those.
I've played around with those. They can be pretty cool.
Yeah, so he'll feed in his lyrics, but then there's this whole other layer.
Oh.
He's using these things called meta tags, basically. They're like instructions for the AI to tell it what the structure of the song should be, like where the verses are, the choruses, all that.
Huh. That's neat. So it's not just spitting out random noise. There's actual, like, direction he's giving it.
Exactly. And what I find really interesting is that with the AI, he doesn't usually give it specific artists or songs as inspiration. He's more about the overall vibe.
So it's like, instead of saying, give me something that sounds like the Beatles, it's more like, I want this to feel, I don't know, upbeat and kind of funky or something.
Exactly. It's way more about feeling and mood, which I think speaks to how sophisticated these AI tools are getting at understanding those more abstract concepts.
Wow. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so what kind of stuff is he actually putting out there? What's the Offbeat Melodies vibe?
Well, you're going to laugh, but some of his song titles, just to give you a taste, Lard Bacon Bitch, The Cat's Been Eating My Weed. Like, what?
He's not afraid to be out there.
No. And I think that's part of the fun he's having with it.
Yeah. Gotta have fun with it.
Totally. He even said, I'm not making this up, I won't lie, I'm usually high off an edible when I sit down to create a song in AI.
Well, there you go. That explains the song titles.
Right. But I think there's something to be said for that kind of playfulness, especially in such a crowded music scene online.
For sure. You got to stand out somehow.
Absolutely. And I think that's what we're seeing here, this AI thing. It's not just about the tech. It's about the new avenues he opens up for creativity, for humor, for doing something totally unexpected.
Definitely. I'm really curious now, like, what kind of impact is this having? Are people actually listening to this stuff?
People are definitely listening, or at least clicking, right? I mean, I think those song titles alone.
Yeah, gotta grab your attention somehow.
But Corey sees this as just the beginning, you know? Like he said, he could imagine AI-generated music getting big enough that cover bands start playing it.
Wow, that's a wild thought.
Right. Like imagine going to a bar and some band's up there jamming a Lard Bacon Bitch. It's like, what even is that, you know?
It really makes you think about where the line is between, like, human creativity and AI, right?
Yeah, totally. And Corey's not the only one doing this, by the way. There's other labels popping up on Spotify, too.
Really? Like what?
There's one Unhinged Records, I think. Then there's another called, like, Obscurest Vinyl, something like that.
Catchy.
Right. And then there's this one. This is my favorite. It's called Idosmito.
You kidding? People are naming their labels that.
I know. Can you imagine trying to explain that to someone a few years ago? Like, oh, yeah, I started a record label. It's called Idosmitofe.
Oh.
It's wild. The whole thing is wild.
But it's kind of cool, right? Like, it's this whole new thing, no rules yet, just pure experimentation. That's exciting.
It is exciting. And it's not like he's just throwing lyrics into a machine and calling it a day either.
Right. There's got to be more to it.
So he's mentioned that there's still this element of chance to it. Like you can refine the output, but it's almost like he used the phrase rolling dice.
So each time you generate a track, it's a little different.
Yeah. And he'll keep tweaking it, running it again until he gets a feel he likes. So it's still very much a creative process, just in a different way.
Right. It's like you're collaborating with the AI, not just telling it what to do, which I think is important, you know, because there are people who worry that AI is just going to, like, take over.
Yeah, but in this case, it seems more like a tool, like any other instrument.
Yeah, exactly. Like you wouldn't expect a guitar to just write a song for you.
Right.
You got to learn how to play it, how to use it to make the sounds you want.
And it sounds like that's what Corey is working towards with this AI stuff.
Yeah.
He's talked about wanting tools that'll let him fine-tune the music with the same kind of control he has with a guitar.
Interesting. So like being able to adjust the melody, maybe mess with the tempo, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Exactly. He even talked about wanting to be able to isolate and save specific AI voices, like find a sound he likes and keep it for later.
That makes sense. Kind of like building your own sample library, but with AI-generated sounds.
Exactly. And that to me is fascinating because it shows how he's thinking about this, not just as a novelty, but as a legitimate musical tool. And who knows, maybe in the future that'll be commonplace. Everyone will have their own AI sound library they pull from.
Yeah, that's a cool thought. Like imagine the possibilities.
Right. But he said, AI is here to stay. AI is here to stay. Kind of makes you stop and think, huh?
It does. And it makes you wonder, like, what does that even mean for music going forward?
Exactly.
Like, if anyone can just make a song with AI, does that change what it means to be a musician? What do you think?
That's the big question, isn't it? And I don't think there's an easy answer. But hey, while we're all pondering that, you should give Corey's stuff a listen.
Yeah, for sure. See what he's doing, how it makes you feel. It's called Offbeat Melodies, right?
That's it. Find it on Spotify. Honestly, this whole thing has really opened my ears up.
Mine too. It's like we talk about AI a lot, but to see someone actually using it to create art, to push boundaries, it's pretty inspiring.
Totally. And who knows, maybe this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Maybe in a few years, we'll all be listening to AI-generated tunes on our morning commute.
Or maybe we'll all have our own AI music collaborators.
Right. It's a wild, wild world out there.
Yeah.
But that's it for this deep dive. Thanks for exploring with us. We'll catch you next time.